Hello and welcome to another episode of the Three Donkeys podcast. My name is Adam Levitan. I'm the father of a very special lady, the most beautiful beast in the world, Jerry. And we are in the wake of the Miami trip, which we've been talking about on here for a very long time. Of course, I am joined by two fellow donkeys, hashtag regular employee, Jonathan Bales, and our vice president, or is it president of business development, Peter Jennings.
There's no president. There's no title.
Just director of business development.
No title. Helper of business development.
I think it's president. It's president.
Developer of business. Peter was in Miami. Peter officiated a golf match. Peter officiated a 1 mile race. Peter got down on some ping pong. Peter, how was the trip?
The trip was fun. We got off to the right foot with a great Airbnb that Bales booked for Wednesday night. Proceeded to lose my wedding ring, shoes, and a hat, none of which showed up because I had to rush out of there to officiate a golf match. That was one of the donkiest sequences I've had all year. Thought I packed everything up, forgot that I left my wedding ring on the windowsill, and somehow lost a nice pair of shoes I just bought, some Allbirds, shout out to Allbirds, and then proceeded to try to walk to the golf course, which was half a mile away. I thought that was sharp. It was right there. And maps dropped me at the golf course, but not at an entrance. So I then had to get an Uber to go to the golf match. So that was the low point of the trip. It was fun. I guess the high point of the trip was beating Bales on a non-official ping pong table. The race was fun to watch. And, Bales didn't have a great finish in the final, which was a little bit of a bummer, but Antonio Brown got hurt. And, we can dive more into that later. But, it was a really fun trip. It's always good to see you guys, good to see the DFS guys, and just overall had a good time.
Bales was there with two of his boys from home, his cousin and his friend Devin, which was cool. Bales also quit the race halfway through, which we'll get to momentarily. Bales also had two entries in the final, which didn't go so well. Other than that, Bales, how was the trip?
It was okay. It was an okay trip overall. I mean, crypto did really well while we were there. My lineups didn't do that well. The Airbnb was a complete disaster. I got fooled on the Airbnb. It was pretty shitty. It was in an abandoned hotel that was like ruined from the hurricane. What
about the security guard story? That was pretty good too.
Yeah, we came back on Wednesday night. It was probably like midnight or 12:30 or something. We got sushi. We went out, got sushi, and there were like three guys or two guys outside of this abandoned hotel, like in all black gear. I would say they didn't look like super official as security guards, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Going into the thing," and they like couldn't get in, I guess, and then one of them yelled across the street to his friend that or just some guy in a parked car. He's like, "Yo, Jimmy, like you're not on tonight. You're not on security." It was like the guy just showed up to come on to security, which I don't think was the case. So we were pretty scared, and then we went back into the room, and my buddy went out to CVS and saw one of them or some guy like shitting behind a bush. And I think it's safe to say that they weren't official security guards.
Somehow my wedding ring and hat and shoes did not show up at this well-run establishment.
How many times have you lost your wedding ring?
I've lost 2 wedding rings now. But good news is I'm getting one of those rubber ones, so That's the play. I hate wearing a ring. It's just so awful. I don't know how Levitan does it all the time.
Yeah, I lost one, and this second one that I have is much more comfortable, and I just never take it off. It's just like, I don't know. Once you get used to it, you never take it off. You never lose it. I, of course, stayed in the hotel on Wednesday night. Did not stay in the Airbnb. Sharp move there by me. Let you donkeys stay in the Airbnb. But my main motivation for staying in the hotel was trying to rest up for this big race. And now I guess we can talk about all the prep that went into this race. I wouldn't say it was a ton of prep, but I did run, I would say, somewhere between 3 and 4 times every week since we made the bet. So about 6 or 7 weeks of running 3 or 4 days a week. I started off doing 2 miles on the treadmill, which was really hard, but got easier as it went. I ended up, I think my best time before I dropped it down was like 2 miles and 14 minutes on the treadmill. So I thought I was looking really good. And then I started running on the track in the gym, and that proved to be way harder. I think I made a pretty big error in running on the treadmill for so long. It's just so different. And you just like can't compare the feeling that you get mentally and kind of physically when you run versus running on the treadmill. So I think I made a pretty big error there. And I also think I dropped it down from 2 miles to 1 mile too quickly. But like 2 miles was just so much pain for me. At least in the 1 mile, it's so much pain, but it's over quicker. So I dropped it down to 1 mile with like 3 weeks to go and only did 1 miles from that point forward. Never did anything better than like 640 upstairs. So, I mean, I was feeling okay. I didn't know what BA was going to do. My strategy was I had done some testing, and like my last lap was pretty much the same as my no matter what I did in the first 2 laps, my last lap was the same. So if I went out in like 3 minutes or 3:20 or 2:45 or whatever, my last lap was always the same. I was just like dead and like trying to leg it out. So my strategy was to go pretty fast in the first 2, try to knock out some people, try to get a lot of separation there, and then try to hang on, which worked against Bales, who we got separation from, and Bales dropped out halfway through. Did not work from BA, who literally sprinted past me as we were passing the 800-meter mark. And I just had I tried to summon the energy to keep up with him as he went past me on the 3rd lap, just didn't have it, and thought he would slow down on the 4th lap, and he never did. And so the only solace I can take is that I would not, under any training regimen or circumstance, have run a 5:33, which is what BA ran. So I don't feel bad about it too much. I really feel worse about just like putting so much pain into this race and then just getting smoked so bad. But at least I didn't quit. Bales, at the 800-meter mark, what were you thinking?
I mean, I don't know why. Everyone seems so disappointed in me, and like I would do that a million times out of a million. Why would I keep running that race? That makes no sense to me. Like,
well, we had a side bet. We should tell the people we had a side bet. Me versus you.
You were. That maybe there's some chance. So you ran 6:21. It was roughly the same as last time, but it was so unlikely that I was going to beat you based on where we were, and you would have run better, I think, if you were being pushed by me, right? Like you probably could have, maybe not sub 6 minute, probably not, but like low 6 minute that I probably couldn't have gotten to. I don't know. I wasn't going to win. It wasn't that much money. I did try. I tried a lot harder than last time. Last time I only ran like 5 times. I thought that us playing racquetball would be good enough. And this time I ran way more. But like halfway through the training, I started to get worse, like way worse. It was really weird. I got really good, improved a lot through like maybe 2 weeks or 17 days or something. And I thought, I didn't really think I had a chance, but I was doing pretty well. And then just like every day got worse after that. And my main strategy in the beginning that ended up not happening was I was going to lose weight because I thought it would make it a lot easier, which it does. And I lost, I think, 4 pounds, but I was like, I don't know. It was harder than I thought to lose the weight, given that my cousin wants to go out drinking every night, and I say yes.
Shout out to your cousin. Also, shout out to Ben who came out and filmed. That was probably the coolest part of the whole thing. It's awesome to meet him, and just amazing that he was willing to fly down there. We definitely are going to be doing hopefully more of this stuff down the road, so that was really cool. Levitan, you showed a lot of heart, but yeah, you were just drawn dead. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best thing about it. Like,
yeah, I actually feel better that I was drawing dead. Like the frying pan tennis match really stuck with me because I should have won. At least in this, I was like drawing stone dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a bit of a nit for not getting more action, but you were looking. The face was starting to look more lean. You had the eye of the tiger. I was getting nervous. You scared me off. I'm trying to give you more action.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight. I've been trying to eat. More. But since the race, I've been trying to like get my weight back. I don't like feeling like this. I don't like running. I don't like feeling like thin and like I don't like it.
BA's commentary though is that Bales has way too much muscle to ever be able to run fast. He said he's just too buff.
If you give me, I would take a bet against BA in a year.
On a mile?
Yeah, for some like crazy amount of money.
You should. He'll definitely do it.
Well, I need odds, but
I'm sure you got your man right there. He's interested, I'm sure. He kept talking about how he wants to run a mile again.
He's insane. Shout out to Ben. Peter's a friend of Ben Fairclough, who came down, shot the race for us with his friend, which was really cool. I think we talked about it before on here, but like as gamblers, as people who try to exploit edges, me and Bales obviously made a bad decision in allowing BA to kind of set the terms, even though he had seen us run before. He knew what our times were. Obviously, that was a huge edge for him if we were talking about it for money. Obviously, it wasn't a ton of money. Bales had a chance to win like almost a full Bitcoin, but I think my max win was like 3/4 of a Bitcoin or like a little bit over half a Bitcoin. So it wasn't a ton of money. But that said, from a monetary perspective, it was obviously a bad bet. From a, lifestyle / health perspective, which is really the reason for these fitness bets to try to motivate us to stay in shape. It was still a good bet. So Bales, you're happy you did it or hashtag regrets?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy I did it. Worked out today and we played racquetball and feel like I'm in that mindset. It's so hard to start working out. So going through that, I'm now just like more likely to even start a workout. So definitely worth it for me. And I also obviously like had less risk to win more. So it was, I thought from that perspective, a good enough incentive to begin working out. So I would do it again.
Who'd you play racquetball with, Bales?
I played today. I'm back. I mean, I played with 4 fingers today. I still had big wrap. I gripped the racket with my pinky off. So,
what was the score?
2-1, Bales won.
Oh, that's tough without it's hard to have the same feel, right?
Well, yeah, it was fine. I mean, I just didn't have like, it'll be fine. Once I get this thing off, then we'll have a fairer matchup between me and Bales. But yeah, I think we're relatively even. I mean, Bales' strokes. I mean, he has this strategy where he literally stands like 6 feet away from the front wall and just like gets everything back somehow. It's crazy strategy.
That's an easy strategy to exploit.
Yeah, I should be nailing him right in the back. That's what I really should be fucking doing.
No, that's not the right strategy. Throw some high balls at him. He's standing up there. Just hit the ball high. Put it in the corners.
The high ball, the high ball is not going to work against me.
You stand 6 feet there, and I'll show you how the high ball will.
I'm all over the court. I'm like a
we need another trip. I need some motivation to see you boys again. We need to do something fun.
Yeah,
we're nice Airbnb this time, and there's some racquetball courts.
It was supposed to be. You saw the pictures. I did get fooled, right? It was supposed to be like pretty nice.
You got suckered big time. One other thing about the trip, just real quick.
Yeah.
Move on. Probably the most tilting part about the trip was freaking Bales had these. What are those things called? The shock. What are those things called? Poppets.
Well, they were called poppets. It was a generic thing. I don't know what do you call those? What did you call them when you were growing up? Like snappers.
Yeah, I called them snappers.
Yeah, you throw them and they explode. everyone.
Yeah, so Levitan. So after we encountered the sketchy security guards, Bill's friends thought it would be funny to get the snappets or the snappers or whatever, and throw them outside the door, trying to scare us. We initially were, I'd say for a second, a little scared, and then we realized it was them. But Bill's proceeded then to throw the snappets above my head, I don't know, 25x, including throwing a huge batch of them above me right as he's leaving. There was like so many, and there's just crap all over the bed. Like I was, our hotel room that we left from Miami had never been worse. I had to leave an extra fat tip for the maid because she saw me, and I was going to leave a tip anyways, but she saw me, and I was like, "Wow, this."
What was the bed like? Because like you threw one above me, and then I found all the pellets in the bed. I'm like, "Oh my god, like this is pretty bad."
Awful, dude. That ruined. I had to get up. Like dude, that ruined some sleep there for me, Bales.
It's like a giant spark above the bed. It was so many. It's like fire.
we go to bed at 2 a.m, Levitan, and Bales has like he leaves for his flight like 6:30. I'm just zonked completely. And as he's leaving, he throws them all up on the freaking bed. And they were in my bed, like it ruined the bed.
It was worth it.
So I'm gonna get Bales back. That's the moral of the story here.
All right, let's get to the actual live final. All right, Bales had 2 teams in the live final. One finished 78th with Antonio Brown. Certainly not the best Antonio Brown team out there, but would have likely had a far higher finish had Antonio Brown not gotten hurt, unfortunately. Also had a team in 146th, which did not perform, insisted on playing his boy Corey Coleman. So, Bales, what did you think of your teams? How'd they come out? Any regrets? Do you wish you did anything different?
Yeah, I wish I did something different. I felt really good about the one that actually finished lower, the Cam team. Cam was one of the only guys I was on the whole week. Like I was playing Cam no matter what, Cam Funchess no matter what. And there weren't really too many other players like that. Corey Coleman was probably someone that I was going to play just because I wanted to win with him. There was really not much of another reason. I thought that I didn't think he was the worst play, but and then the team that finished in 78th with Antonio, it also had Chris Ivory, who got hurt. He got hurt twice, and I think came back once and then left. And Corey Grant had maybe like 50 yards and a touchdown or something. That one, it didn't have a shot to win. Maybe it could have been top 10 in some like weird scenario, probably like top 20 or something. But didn't like lose an opportunity at some crazy cash with those injuries. It just didn't work out. I didn't feel great about that team. I also the biggest regret I had was I talked up Gurley the entire time. I think to you, to Peter, probably all Sunday morning, right? And just with the construction of these, I didn't have Gurley in one, so that's my biggest regret, that I didn't play the player that I was talking about a lot. It was just hard. It was just hard to get him in with the cheap running backs and some of the other guys that I liked.
Yeah, always a big thing at these live finals. Like we've talked about on here plenty how tough it is on your bankroll, not just to get there, but once you get there. I mean, I'm looking at the payout structure now. Bales had 2 entries. One of them 78 for $30K cash, and the other one cash for like $16K or something like that. Realizing your seat equity once you get there is extremely difficult. It's not just about draining your bankroll once you get there. It's like, once you get there, like realizing the seat equity is really hard. Obviously, you have a chance at life-changing money, which is amazing. Shout out to Chess is Good, I believe, who won. Chess is okay.
Chess is okay.
Yeah, Peter, do we know who that is? I'm not sure I'm familiar with him.
He's crushed MPA GPPs. He's been a good GPP guy for a long time. So shout out to him. Congrats on the win.
Friend of the podcast, one of the best friends of the podcast, Andrew Wiggins, aka Maki Supa, finished in 8th. Big congrats to him. Claims he's retiring. I don't really believe him, but anyways. Kandia, another friend of the podcast, I believe he had 8 entries. He had a 10th place finish and a 13th place finish. And he, if you go to his Twitter, he sends some outrageous bodybuilding pictures. Like, Bales, you gotta you gotta check out these bodybuilding pictures from Kandia. Some serious mass being built by Kandia. He's looking to up your game as the most fit man in DFS.
Yeah, I saw them. I'm not the most fit man in DFS for sure. Have you guys seen Sports Geek lately?
No.
Oh my God. The guy is just like so dreamy. No, he's doing like hockey training and stuff now, and I guess he's working out all the time. It's ridiculous. So
All right.
I am trying to get trying to get healthier here in the future. So yeah, it's harder during NFL, obviously, but I think we'll have good motivation after NFL when we set up the gambling Olympics. Have good motivation to get in better shape.
Let's move to crypto because big news today, Bitcoin Cash, which we knew people who had, let me see if I can explain this correctly. I probably can't, but if you had Bitcoin on Coinbase, if you had your actual Bitcoin on an exchange and on the specific exchange Coinbase, I believe it was like a few months ago, August or something, when the hard fork happened with Bitcoin Cash, Coinbase basically like held it from you. Like you didn't have access to it. And they said they were going to release it in December. Well, that day finally came today, and lo and behold, it shows up and you're able to trade it. You're able to buy, sell on Coinbase for a brief time, I believe, even though you weren't supposed to. Am I explaining that right? Or were you never able to even trade it on Coinbase?
I don't believe you were able to trade on Coinbase initially at all, but I could be wrong on that. I certainly was trying to make some moves there, but I was not able to.
I think,
though.
Yeah, I think the big issue was, I don't know how much you want to get into this, but I think the big issue is you're able to, some people clearly knew because the volume of Bitcoin Cash but volume of trading went absolutely through the roof at like 2:30 today or something like that. And that created an issue. People are accusing Coinbase of insider trading as we speak, Bales.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It's a really difficult thing to prove because like some of the volume of different coins just goes up like crazy for seemingly no reason. Just maybe there's like a huge buy or whatever, and then the volume spikes because of that. It does seem a little weird. So yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. It just happened, and I tried to exploit it and made one good move and one bad move. I actually saw Peter tweeted it that Coinbase was accepting the buys and sells, and I actually didn't think that was going to happen, or I just didn't know. But I saw it like right away, right after Coinbase tweeted it, so I bought it and then sold it like, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes later for a good profit, and then tried to trade for more and then send it into Coinbase because the difference between what Coinbase had the price at and what it was trading at was so ridiculous. But I couldn't sell it on Coinbase because the site shuts down anytime anyone wants to use it, and it was just sitting there. And so I still haven't sold it as of now. Not taking a huge loss currently, but still can't sell it, so I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened, and it's I don't know. It's difficult to read at this point, but it is a little bit weird that the volume went up in the middle of the day, right before they put it on the site for buys and sells.
I think from a more general perspective, Peter, if you had your Bitcoin on Coinbase and you now are sitting there with a bunch of Bitcoin Cash or some Bitcoin Cash, do we know what the play is? Does anybody know what the play is? Are we holding our Bitcoin Cash? Are we going to sell it as soon as we can? What are we doing with our Bitcoin Cash?
We're not touting what to do with any of these things. If we knew what to do, maybe we'd be recording the Three Donkeys, but we'd be off somewhere a lot nicer than we are right now with this stuff. If you want to talk about just some concerns, we actually talked about this in Miami. Obviously, a lot of DFS guys are in crypto. A lot of people are skeptical that something like this would happen. And in general, I think people are concerned, especially if you're a big BTC holder, about this. One concern I have just overall right now, I'm not saying to buy or sell anything, but the transaction fees around Bitcoin are getting talked about quite a bit. And that to me is a problem. So a lot of Bitcoin Cash supporters are arguing, because of that, you should be in Bitcoin Cash. But we'll see. I mean, it's so hard to know what to do going forward. I think it is really interesting that Coinbase added it. We've talked a lot about how, the general public is just signing up on Coinbase and buying what's ever there. So it is, it's going to be an interesting few days, to say the very least. I don't know, Bales, do you have anything smarter to say than that?
You're on mute, Bales.
Sorry about that. I think that I just don't know where a lot of the things are going to go. The one thing that you can do that I would say is valuable is outside of peak times of trading, you can arbitrage differences between Coinbase and other exchanges, which is what I was trying to do. But a lot of times, as long as Coinbase stays up, they'll be offering buys or sells at prices that are a lot different than where something is trading at. And at one point today, Bitcoin Cash was on Coinbase at $84.99. It got stuck at that price. I'm not really sure what happened, but it was trading at like $3,400. So it was like more than double the price. And that's like a completely extreme situation that I've never seen. But there are times that it's like 7% or 10% different, that you can actually arbitrage the differences. And if you're smart about buying and selling in those situations, you can make money. And that's probably the best argument that I have for leaving money on exchanges that is for sure less secure, but having the liquidity is arguably more valuable. Or I don't know if it's more valuable, but there's definitely value in having the money in places where you can quickly trade out of it, or quickly sell it, or be able to arbitrage differences in prices really quickly that you can't if you have it on a hard wallet because you need to send it somewhere first. And if it's something like Bitcoin, it could take like 2 hours or 3 hours or who knows how long.
I'll say this, being on Coinbase, just like simply being on Coinbase, we talked about this last week. You can go back and listen to last week's episode. I mean, it's just a massive advantage. Like, as Peter said, people are just going on Coinbase because they think that's the only exchange and are just buying whatever is on Coinbase. So I would be, I don't think the price of Bitcoin Cash is going to tank, but I really have no idea. Let's move to this tweet that we got. Shout out to Andrew Hemgill, sent us a tweet with a link to this study or this competition that's been going on. And I've heard about this off and on for the last couple of years. A computer has been playing Heads Up No Limit Hold'em against some like legit actual world-class Heads Up No Limit players, not like, like the guys you see on TV, like actual world-class Heads Up online No Limit Hold'em players. And the players, the humans, were winning for a while, but according to this tweet that we got in this article, the computer has broken through. I think that in the not so distant future, robots and bots and AI are going to be more successful than humans in a lot of things. Certainly, poker could be one of them, although there's so much nuance in no limit poker that I think it would be tough. But as they've proven here, they certainly can win. In limit poker, there is a limit hold'em poker machine in casinos now in Vegas, and I have played it. I started my poker career, if you want to call it that, playing limit hold'em. This computer is awesome. Like, I don't know. I don't know that this computer is even beatable that we're playing against in this casino. So anyways, I was curious, or we were at least curious, talk about AI for at least a minute here. Peter, I know you're bullish on AI, virtual reality, takes on robots taking over the world.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's inevitable. absolutely inevitable that artificial intelligence is going to be the most disruptive thing that we'll see in our life. I just think that's a lock. Friend of the podcast, Mark Cuban, also thinks that's a lock. It's one of those things. Like, if you want to go down a really crazy rabbit hole, you can start, hearing what Elon Musk has said about it, and you can get into the simulation theory and all this different stuff. But computers, especially with machine learning and artificial intelligence, they just have a much higher capacity to do things than human beings. So obviously we're in the infancy of this stuff now. Mark Cuban's talked about how he thinks the first trillionaire will be made off of AI. So for entrepreneurs out there listening, that's a very good space to get into, in my opinion. But obviously it's super complicated. I'm no expert, but I am very bullish on it long term. And I think hopefully there'll be a lot of utility. Like the gambling stuff, whatever, like they're going to get better. They've been the best at chess, poker, any game. They're going to be able to ultimately become the best. But where I think the most utility can be created is in things like healthcare. We've seen a lot of cool stuff there already. Hopefully there'll be some really innovative things. And the robots are crazy out there. It is scary long term to think about what it'll evolve into, but I do think that there's a lot of upside, and certainly there's some interesting things to dig into. So, Bales, are you as bullish like Cuban?
I'm honestly pretty naive on the subject. I would say overall not in most areas that are like unsolvable. I don't think we're as close as people think. So something like limit poker or something is like theoretically very solvable. Or Connect Four we played the other night. One of the reasons, how we played Connect Four for money in Miami, and how I would always stack the things up. Like I would always go in the middle and keep stacking them. Not a good player overall, but I would do that. And one of the reasons is because I just like studied it a bit online. I don't know, like a year ago for no reason whatsoever. And I saw that like it's completely solved game, but that's the right move almost all the time, is to just like people that know what they're doing will just stack the things up the middle without ever going to the side to begin, because it's so valuable to have them in the middle. But I think that overall, for me anyway, the most valuable things would come from learning how. I know in the poker thing that the artificial intelligence would make mostly standard moves, but sometimes like really, really weird moves. And when that happens, occasionally I think it could be wrong, but sometimes it's not. And so learning from those situations, whether it's DFS or poker, or anything, like why is the AI doing this, is the most valuable thing to me. So sort of combining the subjective human element with what the computer naturally wants to do, I think is at least for a little while is where most of the value lies. So ironically, I think it's still like subjective interpretation of AI for the moment.
Yeah, I think it's really bad for, I don't know, people, I guess people like us or I don't know, like, it's bad for the games, when like the bots are the best players on PokerStars, and like, you have to be this like, have a robot or have machine learning to win at DFS, like that's when it's really bad for the games, and it's really bad, I think, for people in general. Like I would consider my biggest edge, or I guess all of our biggest edge, like peer-to-peer battle, you know what I mean? Not me versus the house, not me versus a robot, but actually me versus another human. Beyond that, I don't know where my edge lies. So certainly scary from that perspective. Peter, if people want to invest, I don't know if you want to reveal or whatever, if people wanted to invest, I mean, what do you do? Just buy stock in Elon Musk's company, or what?
I definitely don't want to get into the investment advice, but you can go on the Google machine and start looking and going down the rabbit hole. One thing that I thought was super obvious that is coming to fruition, and actually with BA said it wouldn't happen, be prominent in our lifetime. And this is one thing I felt I got right, was self-driving cars and self-driving trucks. I think that's going to be a huge part of our life. I think we're getting closer and closer, and I won't be surprised at all, sometime soon in our lifetime, maybe even our kids won't drive, honestly. Maybe yours will, Levitan, but I think, driving a vehicle will be like a kind of like a luxury entertainment experience versus what we do to actually move. I think everything will be either in like a Hyperloop or we'll have self-driving cars. And it just makes so much sense, right? Like the most dangerous thing we do is get in a car on a day-to-day basis. The leading cause of death for Americans under the age of 40 is car accidents. So, we'll see innovations like that I think will be really helpful. We'll see stuff in healthcare that'll be great. For gambling, I think it's really bad because computers are going to be able to solve this stuff a lot faster. But I definitely would go down the rabbit hole if you're intrigued with this at all, because I think it's the most fascinating space. And there's a lot of good content out there from Mark Cuban, actually. So shout out to Mark, and definitely a lot of really good articles and videos and different things that show the power of AI and what it's going to do in the future.
Before we get to the picks, I wanted to quickly hit on this UFO story. To me, it's like blatantly obvious that we are not alone in this world. Like, to think that we are the only planet with human life is like so arrogant, I think. Think about how big it is. Just like go outside and start looking and then realize how big everything is, how many stars, how many planets there are. I'm actually like super intrigued by space. I would love in my lifetime if I could pay to go to space, like 100%. I know you can, you can do the SpaceX program or whatever. But yeah, I hope it becomes cheaper and more affordable. Like, hey, we'll do a trip to the moon today, just like you would say, hey, I'm going to Spain for the weekend or whatever. So I hope. I'm really interested in space. I would be absolutely shocked if there isn't other life form out there somewhere, maybe not in our galaxy, but in another one. But does anybody disagree? Does anybody think we're actually alone out here?
No, I definitely think that we are not. I don't know that it has been visited. I would guess not, but no, I would bet my life that we're not alone.
Yeah. Do you think we'll find out for sure that we're not alone in our lifetime?
Yes.
I think we will find out that we're not alone for sure. I mean, it just makes sense.
It depends on if you mean super intelligent life or just we find life. I think it's so likely that we just find some sort of life. But something that's intelligent enough to come to Earth. We can barely get to, we can't even get someone to another planet right now. And we're seemingly advanced, and the closest star is I think 4.1 light years away. So pretty far. We're just so far away from even being able to visit another planetary system. So I don't know that it's likely that anything has been here, maybe, but almost 100% that there's life somewhere on other planets. I think I saw something from Carl Sagan that if you take every grain of sand on the entire planet Earth, there's 20 million times that many stars in the universe. And it's very difficult for there to be a planet that's in the right zone, and it can have water and potentially foster life. But it's not that difficult relative to the number of stars and planets that we found around those stars. So I think it's pretty likely that there's some sort of life, and probably a lot that's more advanced than humans.
The UFO video though was not real, right? We're in agreement. The UFO video that was released was not real.
I don't know for sure, but I would guess not.
Yeah, I'm extremely skeptical, but you sound like you have 100% conviction that it's not real.
I mean, I hope it is, man, but I don't know.
You hope it's real?
Yeah.
You want it to be real?
Yes. Why do we think that they'll be vicious or mean? Because we saw Independence Day or something?
No. I mean, it's interesting that, it's a lot of unknown. And in general, I think human beings fear the unknown. So,
yeah.
I think the biggest fear would be that, if you're that advanced, you just wouldn't care about us. Like we walk down the street and you step on an ant, you don't know that you did that, and you don't care, right? Like you don't care if you kill an ant, like you stepped on an ant. They probably just don't give a shit about us, right? Like if you're that advanced to be able to come here, they just wouldn't care.
Yeah. They might want Jerry. They might want Jerry.
Yeah. Beautiful beast. It is super interesting. I like Bale's argument. That's what I was basically going to say is if you just start looking at the math of how many stars there are and how little we know about space and how vast it truly is, I mean, it just seems very likely that there'd be additional life. So in that regard, I'm on it. The video today didn't get as much pub as I thought it would. Barstool Nate, shout out to Nate. He did go ham on it, and he's continuing to go ham on it, which is always fun to watch. But the one interesting thing is that I saw an interview today, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like basically the head of like for the U.S. government of like the extraterrestrial stuff. I mean, not giving a good explanation of his background or what he was doing, but his job was basically to check on all that stuff. And he, in a political way, basically said he thought there was outside life. So
I saw that. He's retired, right?
He's retired, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want to say definitively, but he danced around it in a political way. But it was like, yeah, basically saying he'd be surprised if there wasn't.
Let's get to the picks because we have some controversy. Scott the intern declared a tie last week between me and Bales. However, Bales went 1-2, and I went 1-1-1. I'm fine with living with Scott the intern's ruling here, but shouldn't 1-1-1 be a better record than 1-2?
Of course, I don't even know how it was a tie. It's so stupid. And I love. You know, I hate to say anything bad, but you lost less units. You know, like you just lost. Like
exactly.
Bales lost more.
Exactly.
My beats were brutal. 2 pushes. Come on. Especially, and I lost the freaking
All right, I didn't look at this that much. You're 1-1-1.
Right.
You're 1-2.
And I'm 1-2. Yeah, clearly you won.
Okay. Thank you. Scott the intern trying to fuck me out of a win here.
I was actually I thought the controversy was that we were tied, but like who was better out of me and Peter? That could also
That's more of a controversy for sure.
Yeah. Peter was just
because I lose 1 unit there, then plus whatever I used.
You were 0-1-2, right? So you also lost 1 unit. I lost 1 unit, even though I won 1.
Right. That's why I think that's a tie, and I think Levitan clearly doesn't lose a unit. You know, like that's
right.
But the argument for me is that I had a 33%.
No, all that matters is weight is units.
I don't know.
Of course.
I don't know that it's a.
I expect my victory to be reflected in the spreadsheet. Bales won the 3
honestly, I just told Sean to give me the win or for us to chop because that's what. So I don't know if that's what's in there now because I didn't even look at it, but I will. I mean, you won that. That's not. I don't know why he would say that.
We also need to update the standings. For the bets or the props to reflect the mile race. That's not on there.
Yeah, we can do that, but everything on there currently is money owed, and
it's not paid.
Week 15 isn't in there yet, so.
We are set up. Settled the money or
right. I should be there for the rec keeping. I'm biased though, so I don't know. Whatever.
All right. Let's get to this week's picks. It's an interesting week. We have, due to the way Christmas fell, we have 2 games on Thursday, 2 games on Saturday, on Sunday, and then 2 games on Monday, which should be fun. 2 games. Bales, are you with us?
Yeah, I can kind of hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think it's better now.
Yep.
Am I up?
You're up.
You're up, buddy.
First up.
Yeah, I cut out there. I will go Falcons Saints under 52.5. I think I might have taken the same game, the under, earlier in the year, but primarily just that I think we have the Falcons projected for the fewest plays of any team this week, and the Saints are like 18th or bottom half in the league in passing when they were, I think I saw a stat, first or second in passes in like 8 of 11 of Sean Payton's seasons as head coach. So they clearly have a different philosophy with those running backs, and people maybe not treating that game that way. So I like the under there, 52.5.
Peter, go ahead.
Okay, I am going to take the Chargers minus 6.5 on the road versus the Jets. I know that's kind of weird to take a big favorite on the road, but with Petty at quarterback, this Chargers defense, I expect them to bounce back in a big way at the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers still very much alive for the playoffs. I am going to go with the Seahawks plus the 5. I think that if the Seahawks didn't just lay an absolute egg at home against the Rams, I have no idea what happened. This line probably would have been like 2.5, 3. I'm not sure how much a difference Ezekiel Elliott makes, if at all. So a bounce back spot for Seattle where the line is just so inflated based on the way they played. They're certainly not going to play that poorly again.
I'll go bit of a gamble maybe, but Browns and Bears under 38. I think that, generally that's like the lowest line we see, occasionally 37. And a lot of times those lines that are really low or really high should actually be more extreme, but they're not going to set them that way because they look ridiculous and people wouldn't bet them. But we've seen, obviously, I'm a believer in Corey Coleman and Josh Gordon, but these quarterbacks are pretty bad. And if you have these receivers and are playing this bad, I don't know. It doesn't look good for Kaiser, but under 38.
Okay, I was going to take the Titans getting 7, but it's moved to 6.5. Our friends at Sports Insights basically showing a huge percentage of the tickets and the money on the Rams, but that move of a half point is significant. So I'm kind of stuck in a weird spot. I'll go with something else that just feels so wrong, but I'm going to go with it just because all the money is on one side, and I'm going to go away from it. I'm going to take the Bengals getting 5 points versus the Lions. Bengals have obviously mailed it in, but at home, these guys still have to put good film out there for future jobs, so I'm hoping that the Bengals show up in this spot.
All right, in my year-long quest to be low on the Falcons, I'm going to stay that way and lay the 5.5 with the Saints. Just think the Saints are so much better than this Falcons team who comes in on a short week, certainly a big game for the Saints as they maneuver in playoff positioning, and they're just good, and the Falcons just are mediocre at best, I think. So I'll lay the 5.5 with the Saints. You're on mute.
Final one, I will go Colts plus 14 at Baltimore. I've been taking these games all year with the huge underdogs when the total's really low, and total's dropped down to 41 currently, I believe. So just kidding, guys. It's 13.5. I just wanted to see if you pointed out, but I'm still going to take them.
All right. Stuck in a rock and a hard place here with some of these spots because of the number moves. I'll still do it. I'll take the Texans getting 8.5 points at home. I think Antonio Brown's really valuable. It opened at 10. Felt really good about Texans plus 10 at home, but I'll take 8.5 home dog. Obviously, Steelers are good, very good team, but Antonio Brown, I'm hoping, will be a significant loss, and they've just had some brutal injuries. And after a huge game, I'm hoping for a bit of a letdown going to Houston.
All right, for my last pick, I'm going to go over the posted total of 43.5 in this Chiefs-Miami game. I think that the Chiefs defense, while certainly better at Arrowhead, is not anywhere near what they were. And we've kind of seen the Dolphins perfect a formula of garbage time scoring. So I think that this game could be far higher paced, see a lot more passing plays than maybe people think, and always a chance for garbage time when you have the over in a game that has a 10.5 point spread with capable offense like the Dolphins. That is going to do it for this episode of the Three Donkeys podcast. For video of the 1 mile race where Bales quit, go to Peter's Twitter and find his Periscope. Do we have the video? Do we have the video of the race posted anywhere else yet, Bales?
Not currently.
Okay. When we do, we will let you all know. Good luck out there in the crypto streets. Good luck out there in the DFS streets. Good luck out there in the sportsbook streets. For Jerry, for Bales, for Peter, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.